One day, everything you've done will be weighed on the scales. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Understanding the Qur'an. Together we'll be journeying through the entire Qur'an from cover to cover, one surah at a time. Today we'll be exploring Surah Al-Qāri'ah, the sudden calamity. Now this surah paints a vivid picture of the Day of Judgement and reminds us that the only day that really matters is the day we stand before Allah the Almighty. Let's begin with the surah. In the name of Allah, the kind, the caring. The sudden calamity. What is the sudden calamity? What can explain the reality of the sudden calamity to you? The day when people will look lost, like scattered moths, and the mountains will sway like fluffy wool. So the one who has a heavy scale of deeds will have a happy life, but the one who has a light scale of deeds, his home will be a bottomless pit. And what can explain what it looks like? A blazing fire. Subhanallah, Allah begins the surah with a question, the sudden calamity. And then He asks, what is a sudden calamity? And then He asks again, what can make you understand what the sudden calamity is? Now this repetition is used to capture our attention. Allah the Almighty is preparing us for a day unlike anything else we have ever experienced. He then describes us as being like scattered moths. Imagine billions of people, overwhelmed and confused. No one knows where to go. No one is thinking about their wealth, their career, their reputation. Every soul is concerned only with itself. Then Allah the Almighty describes mountains, the strongest, most solid things that we know. He mentions that on that day they'll become soft like fluffy wool. Now if the mountains crumble before Allah, what about us? Then this surah reaches its central message, the scales. Every deed we have ever done will be weighed. Every prayer, every act of charity, every time we were patient, every kind word, and every sin. Nothing will be overlooked except for what Allah the Almighty has pardoned us for. And then Allah the Almighty says, as for the one whose scales are heavy, and not heavy with wealth or achievements, but heavy with deeds, they will be in a life of happiness. Subhanallah, what a beautiful promise. A life of happiness for eternity. But Allah also warns us, for the one whose scales are light, their home will be the abyss. And then Allah asks the question, what can make you understand what that is? And then He replies, a blazing fire. These verses are not there to make us despair. They are here because Allah the Almighty, in His mercy, is warning us about that day. Every day we are still alive is another opportunity to fill those scales with good deeds. A prayer offered sincerely, a charity given quietly, a kind word, even helping someone in need, and even a smile. A smile done right with the right intention can have more rewards than you could ever imagine. This is the hope that this surah gives us. Every good deed matters, no matter how small. So as we leave the surah, let's ask ourselves, if my deeds were weighed today, would they be heavy or would they be light? May Allah make our scales heavy with righteous deeds, forgive our shortcomings and grant us success on a day when we'll all stand before Him. In our next episode, we'll be going through Surah Al-Adiyat, and this is where Allah the Almighty draws our attention to the ingratitude of mankind and the reality that nothing can be hidden from Him. Inshallah, join us for our next episode and join us on our journey where we cover the entire Qur'an from cover to cover, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.